What's happening, everyone? It is Thursday night, Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks time. Tonight we're doing an Aviator Skull. For those who didn't know that already, for those of you who follow me, you already saw I posted this up. And these vectors are downloadable at McKayFineArt.com. And one just downloaded. Can I mute the computer? I don't know if that was mine or yours. And so if you go to the link in the description, there's a link over to McKay Fine Art to the exact product. But if not, you can just go to McKayFineArt.com and go to the download sections, and they're right there. So let's see who we got on tonight. We got Scott Voss. How we doing, sir? You know, we got some people over on Facebook just starting out. London Paint. Early for, yeah, you are early for the change. You're right at the start, man. We got Fingsy, how's it going? Jeffrey. Downloading as we speak. Thank you, Carl. Very, very cool. Steve Buckus, what's going on, man? And over at Facebook, we got Gary Galan just popped in. How you doing, Gary? Thanks for popping in there. And let's go over what we're doing tonight. Actually, let me go get the original. This is the original that we did. And I'm going to put it up on screen. I'll put it up on the board here. Switch over. So this was the original. This was the original we did. Hey, Fernando, how you doing? Thanks for popping in from Brazil. So this was the original we did. This one, me and Ryno painted this at the Airbrush Art Circus in tribute to Mike Lavalle. We all know Mike Lavalle loved his real fire, his true fire, and did it better than anyone else. But he also loved doing aviator skulls. And so this was me and Ryno's kind of tribute to him. And we put in the Killer Paint logo in it in class. We did it in fiery color. I am going to do a video, and it'll be a recorded type video of this one where I can edit. Doing the real fire, all these colors and the brown tones and everything is way too much to do in a 2-hour feed. So that's why I'm not doing it tonight. I'm going to do a monochromatic kind of sepia tone, black and white version of it, which is kind of where I got the source images from. And so I'm going to do that tonight, and that's part of the feed. And then I'll start recording a how-to of this one that can be a little bit more thorough, let's say, and kind of break it down a little bit better, and I think it'll go a long way. There's just way too many transitions in this to do it in a 2-hour feed. So, but this is what this one is based off. This is the same vector we used in class. So I know that a few of the guys who were in class already downloaded this, and so we're going to do a new version of it, black and white, and when I do the other one, it'll give you other options for how to approach this project. So, this is what we did. This is the new one we're going to do. So let's get started. Hello, Michelle. Kaylee's the one doing the wave. Oh, Honey's here. Hello, Honey. Aussie Pete. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. And who else we got? Gary's here. Hi, Gary. All right. So I've done enough videos that everyone should kind of know. Exactly, that was a tribute, Nick, over Facebook. That was a tribute to Mike Lavalle that we did for him back. Actually, it was during the Rendezvous, but it was also the tribute event to Mike that we did that piece for. So this is a newer version we're going to do for this. And let's see here. Oh, excuse me. So, I've done enough videos on how I apply vinyl, but I figured I'd do it again anyway. So all I do with this one, I've already pre-weeded out the border because I'm going to work my way from background to foreground, which is why I've already weeded the background out. For anyone who had this, I cut this out in a big sheet. I just pulled out the background, and I just clipped the corners because I had this measured to this 9x14 size, which is the size of this panel. It's a 9x14 panel. And the base color I did on this, for those who want to know, this is Createx Colors. This is their Autoborn Sealer White with about 10-15% of Autoborn Sealer Tan mixed in to give me this color. All right. What I did is I just left my corners here, so I have a registration and it sits level. And we are going to apply this. We're going to apply this different. I typically do a hinge technique which a hinge technique, everyone knows from my feeds, is usually across the middle, and I do one side at a time. This will just do, basically, I don't even know what technique to call it, just a standard kind of top to bottom technique, which is actually how Mike would always do his. So we'll keep it aligned to how Mike did it. So this is all pre-cut, pre-weeded. This is the design. This is what's already there. So, and again, I always make my paper and the plot line up exactly, so that, therefore, I can do paper as well. And I'm just going to pull this whole thing off, all the way off from there. And we're going to squeegee this up. Pull this off. Now I can just pull the transfer tape off, leaving just the graphic behind. For those of you who've been watching, this is pretty much my technique, how I do a lot of things. And this is the same technique whether I'm hand cutting or if I'm doing it by paper. I would work. If I was just working by paper for the guys who don't have a plotter, I'd be working the same way. I'd start from this and I'd be cutting as I went. It's the same way I'm going to be pulling the vinyls. For you guys who don't have a plotter, you can simply print this out and you can pretty much follow along with how I'm going to chop everything out from here. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, the Rendezvous was great. It was a really good event. It was pretty much sold out. We didn't have really any spots open. It was great having Michelle in my class. I think that was Michelle's first time taking my class. And everyone rocked it. Everyone did a great job. And as Michelle will attest, I don't know this factually, but I think me and Ryno probably put most people through most grueling program as far as it just goes. We do a lot of projects, a lot of information. Oh, he even did a shot with Gerald. Just one. You were smart. Cheers, everyone. Speaking of shots, cheers. Michelle will like the saying on this whiskey because I have to deal with idiots. Is what the glass says. All right, colors I have tonight. Real simple. How much did I miss? Sorry, Mr. Live Feed. Nameless. How much? I'm just getting started. Just getting warmed up. So colors we're using tonight. This is Illustration Sepia from Cratex. I'm using that straight as is with some reducer. And then I have another mixture which is about 10% black added to it. So it's a darker version. Highlighting, I'll do a mix of erasing technique, and I also got the newer Illustration Titan Buff, which is going to be a nice highlight color, which will not give me a blue shift, and it'll actually be perfect for this because it's actually in line with the tan color. That's it. That's all I'm using. A few airbrushes, and that's it. So we're going to break out my pocket graphics just so I have them. Little mini texture effects. We will grab, let's see here. I want to grab an old school texture effects if I have them. Oh, we'll just have to use this. All right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Throat's a little dry tonight. Sorry, guys. All right. So, typical fashion, I'm going to work background to foreground. I'm actually going to start with my darker color. And let's just show you that color here. So this is a sepia mixed with black. So it goes pretty dark. And then what I have is the sepia straight, which, see, it's just a little, I mean, I can get almost to the same dark, but the black is just a little darker. All right, Mr. Leahy, hello, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Hope all is going well when you're back at home and getting things caught up and such. I popped in your feed for a second the other day, but was part of the candle at both ends, so I was doing tiny flames for a cooling element. Awesome, Nick, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's really why I made them. So I'm going to start the background really simple. We're just going to do some clouds. There's so many ways to do clouds. Some people like cotton ball, some people like stencil, some people like cloth. I tend to just take an edge of like Gerald's templates or just something rough, and I hold it at a distance so I get kind of that little cloud edge. See how that gave me that nice little edge? Oh, this is the, you know what? I'm not going to use the darker for this stage. I'm going to use the lighter. It won't be involving tape. Got to make friends with that tape, Michelle. It really comes in handy. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just kind of making kind of a cloudy background. I'm just holding my template off from a distance. Kind of bounce the paint off it. I don't want any hard edge. And I'm just kind of cut across vertically, I mean, kind of at an angle, and give it a little something, something. And you know what? We'll give it a sun up in the corner here. How about that? Oops. There's some water on that. Gonna dry that quick. There we go. Alright, just give it a little sun in the corner. Thank you for that reminder, honey. Yeah, likes and subscribes and followers really help me. I'm close to 7,000. So we hit 6,000 a few months back, and now we're almost at 7. So the closer I get to 10 is where I can start. When I get to 10, I can actually do a lot more stuff with the feed. It unlocks a lot of features. That's going to allow me to do a lot more for you guys and myself. So I'm not trying to go too dark here because I'm going to put the plain silhouettes on top of it. So I just want to leave a little something. But just kind of giving it that, you know, smoky sky kind of. Oops, a little too close here. See, I left some texture there I didn't want. We're going to have to get that out of there. And that happens when you get the stencil too close. And honestly, this is the same way we did this one. But we were on a black panel. And all we did was we were doing all the orange glow and fire first. So it's a very similar step, just went the other way. Yes, Kaylee is producing the show. And the real key thing when you work with a mask like this and working out of it is you got to make sure you get paint over everything so you have good delineation for the whole background. So I'm going to do that first. Make sure I go the whole thing. And keeping it real simple. Let's see what we got here. Where's the narrator tonight? A.K.A. Kyle. Tape and hair textures class from Joe. This is sepia straight. Okay, I'm just going to hit this again. Hey Donnie, how you doing? Only get to watch a little bit. Glad I can get back. Watch from the start. Oh, very cool. The airspace. Welcome, welcome. My mom's over on Facebook side watching. Hey, Mom. Yeah, and can't participate in live feeds. Yeah, YouTube. I got a restriction. Oh, you got restrictions on Facebook. Yeah, that happens. That happens. Sometimes for stupid reasons. Usually for stupid reasons. I want to put a little bit of the cloud color in right now, which I'm just going to use that Titan buff as opposed to a white. And you'll see it just makes a nicer highlight without that blue shift. I can give it one of those old school airbrush clouds. Just have that kind of beach scene line to it. Like I said, I'm working background to foreground. And actually, what I'll probably do, I'm going to put these, probably put these guys in now, actually, and just kind of set that background up. It's not baffles me how fast and fluid you work. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I've been doing this since I was 15. And, started doing a lot of t-shirts back then, so that was really a lot of my kind of freehand control and ability to just kind of work on the fly. But, I think a lot of people's problems with paint flow and things like that really comes from I don't want to say unwillingness, it's just almost a fear, or I used to call it like trigger shy, just shy to pull the trigger. When you break that habit, you start getting confident and just pulling the trigger, letting the paint go, everything goes away. Hey Rob, thanks for popping in, catching it live, that's great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So when you start being able to just pull the trigger with almost like a disregard, less worry, you have less problems. You don't get tip dry. You don't get this because the paint's just flowing. That's what I've found over the years. It just comes with practice. The more you practice, the less you have to think about how much do I pull the trigger? Is my paint right? Is this working right? Everything just kind of comes together and works. right. Happy Thursday, Matthew. Thursday or Thursday. Can you go in the other room and grab my Yeti that's over there? Thank you. So I have my AC running in the background. Is that noise bugging any of you guys? Can you hear it? I thought I brought it in there, Kaylee. I might not have. Okay.
The window looked funny. I was worried about the stuff outside. The furniture outside is not covered.
Is it raining?
No, that's why I was checking that.
Oh. Cool.
In case it was.
So there we go. Let's see. Happy little clouds. Exactly. Happy little clouds. Mom was wondering what? I think I missed that. Laura Glass. Hi, Laura. Welcome. So we got people on. So the Facebook side, for some reason, just watching my phone, I can't see the comments as well, so I miss you. I'm really sorry. I'm following what I can. But yes, the better feed is over on YouTube. Mr. Pat Geens. I'm going to sign. Pat, I'm going to sign that in big, huge Sharpie. Maybe one of those like big, thick 1-inch, you know, like pens. Oh, okay, so, Mom, you're hearing the air conditioner noise? Yeah, it's getting a little hot. For those who don't know, this studio where I record is on the 3rd floor of my home. And as with houses built in the 1800s, it gets hot up here. So, AC might be necessary to have on. Where is my X-Acto?
It's not over here.
Had it earlier, right here. If I
Oh, it's under here.
Can you get it for me, please? I can't reach. All right, so we call that an attic in Canada. Well, it's not really an attic because this is an attic. This is a full 3rd floor. I have attic space in the eaves and stuff, but not an attic here in this house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these planes out. Now this is what was nice about working on a black panel. You put these on first and you don't have to worry about it. You end up with nice silhouettes. This we're going to do in reverse from the original. Hey, Warlock. We got 60 people in here tonight. That's awesome. Thank you guys for all popping in. Just a happy little mushroom cloud. Alright, we got them. Take my cutting mat out, put this back. No, there's a basement as well. The house we live in was built in 1890. Alright, so I got all my little planes here. Let's just make a scene. Let's put this bomber. I'm gonna put this bomber like right here. Put that one there. This guy flying. Yeah, it's a little Memorial Day theme. You know, I almost did. I was going to do a Battlefield Cross. And that is going to be one upcoming. I've done the Battlefield Cross like probably 20 different times from all different angles. So I think one of my future downloads will be a whole set of Battlefield Cross items. So all different angles and positions, which will be kind of cool for people, I think. You know, I should have done this guy up top. Can I get him off? Maybe. I kind of wanted something bigger up top. Look at that. Just pulled it soon enough. See that? Let's get him. Yeah, he's going to go right there. Or, yeah, I want that wing across the cloud. That'll be cool. Oh yeah, no, my AC will be on for the next, you know, all summer at this point. Definitely got to have a little Mustang action in here. We'll have this guy down here. Just a bunch of planes, having some dog fights. I'm trying to keep up. Kaylee's going to have to keep an eye on the comments while I'm doing this, if any major questions come about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the basement on this house is so old, you wouldn't consider it really a story. Fieldstone. I think the term would be moist, especially this time of year. Oh, 2 months of summer. We get a little bit more than that. So we're starting out now. We were 96 degrees last week. So we're already hitting them temps. And then July and August will come and be brutal. August especially. Then it starts going down at the end of August into September. But it's still nice in September. Yes, it does. Especially one that's 130 years old. 132 years old. Yeah, I just skim the ceiling in the basement. There's a couple of spots, like there's some light fixtures I have to duck around. So, it's not, it's considered full height, but full height for small people. Alright, let's see here. So now we're just going to put some masking. Yeah, insulating the attic definitely helps. So here's a little trick, and I always say the first place I learned this from was when I got to work with the awesome. Sorry. The amazing Steve Driscoll. Driscoll is the first one I saw kind of do this, which was just, instead of masking the whole area, just bend your tape, make a little deflection shield, and everything will just roll away from the surface as opposed to getting overspray and everything. You know, I could have plotted this with everything like already ready to go, placed in the right spot. What I like about this project, and the reason why I did this is, I'll not coin the phrase, but this is like the shrinky dink method. Remember shrinky dinks as a kid, or the ones you just kind of put all over. You could kind of move them around, and they just kind of clung to the surface. And just put them where you want to put them. You can put planes, you can put whatever you want on here. But now I don't have to like sheet mask the whole thing. Let's see. Deflector shield activated. Exactly. Exactly. These are pretty close together, so these can be together. They're fine. But just, you don't have to go like covering everything. You could probably even get away with some loose shields if you're careful enough. See, Michelle, you gotta use a little tape once in a while. Now, if you wanted to, you could, like, detail the planes fully if you want to go that far. That's not happening tonight for me. But one could if one was so inclined. Cool, cool. Double check everything. Everything's good. You got no bleed throughs about to happen. Now, no, this tape's fine. This tape's all right for Michelle. I'm just gonna put these in silhouette. That's all I'm doing. I'm still using sepia. I don't want to use straight black. I'd love a larger height Hobbit house community. That would be cool. Actually, there's a guy. I don't know if it's a guy, but there's a house in the next town over, in Amesbury, Mass, that has the front entrance to like the property. It looks like a Hobbit hole door. It's big, like 8-foot round door, human size, to enter looks like to enter the backyard of the house. It's really cool looking, and it's a really old house, and like the front has that. It's pretty wild, actually. Yeah, I'd like to, but maybe I'll go back in. I'll put some highlights and stuff in here, but I don't really have the reference material for doing it. But I'll put some like bullet holes and things like that coming out. I mean, some little dogfight action going. But see, I'm painting towards here, and that paint, look, it's actually catching the edge of the tape there. See that? So if I left that tape flat, there'd be an edge right here on my panel. But because I did that, there's no paint getting out there. I really wish my Facebook app would let me see comments better.
There haven't been any comments in the last
okay.
12 minutes.
Cool. Plain silhouettes. An earthen house, yeah. There's some of them up here. That's where you overspray. Yep. Because if you leave it open, if you don't plan for it, it's gonna get you. It'll always get you. Alright, see, we got a nice little scene going. Now we can actually put some we'll just give it some motion trails coming off the planes. One scene of video, a guy who chills the house on a mountain. Oh, I saw that video. It was like a husband and wife. They had like natural running water coming through like the back of the place. But that's the same video. I think I need a little bit of a reducer in my paint. Absolutely. Yeah, let's not forget what Memorial Day is about. Yes, he did, and that's why we did that tribute piece to him. And since we did it, man, I don't think a month goes by where I don't get asked to do one or redo that one we did. So I was actually unsure what I was going to do tonight. I was between this, and Kaylee had asked me if I ever did a snake one, and I hadn't done a snake one live, and I have some vectors of snakes, so that's definitely coming out. So I was torn between that, and this one just went out. Like I said, if you guys go over, you can check out McKayFineArt.com. And that one, oops, sorry. You can put it up now. No, you gotta drag.
No, I just put on air on.
Drag the whole button. Thank you. McKayFineArt.com. You go there, that one has where the vectors are. So what I'm doing for these front, I'm going to put some cannon fire coming out. But in order for it to show up, I really need to get this one might have a little smoke trailing off the back of it. So by doing that, now I can go in. Thanks, Mike. Yep, I think you were the first one, man. Let's put some tracer rounds coming off that guy. Get some glow right off that. I usually kind of wait to the end for this, but Let's get a little something. I'll do some more at the end. Cool. Cool, cool. All right. Get that going. So, let's move on to the actual Aviator Skull itself. So, like I said, the Aviator Skull paper print lines up perfectly with my plot file. This is what I do a lot, so I don't have to keep pulling things off and sticking them together, pulling things on, taking them off, and all that stuff. So that way, if I want to just paper cut, I can paper cut. So now I got to look at this thing and start to kind of reverse engineer and see what's in the background, what's in the foreground, you know, and just kind of work my way out of it from there. Mr. Barker, thank you very much for your service, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Check out us paint and do some fun stuff here, as opposed to the not fun stuff I'm sure you get to deal with on our behalf. Alright, so let's do that. Where's my pick? My pick tool. Ah, here's my pick tool right here. Alright, so let me reverse engineer this thing. So let's look. So when I did this is, you know, reversed in Fire, so some of the stuff we pull will be different here, but you just got to kind of work your way out of it. And so the skull's in the background, but there's some elements that aren't. So this is it's very similar to the Paint by Numbers Dragon we did a while back, which is still available for download. And what you do is you start looking for what's background. So the furthest in the background, when you look at this, like, you know, this is the closest. And then it steps back, step back, step back, step back. All this, the skull's inside under here. This is behind the skull, and this is behind that. Okay, so this is actually the furthest down. And that's the strap. So I'm going to work my way from there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure we have enough darkness here. And I'm going to leave this edge light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this button. Actually, no, I'm going to pull the strap first. Pull the strap. And that's going to leave the buttonhole, because I'm going to leave that as kind of a snap. So I'm going to go around it. And get everything there. And just kind of detail this strap. And I don't have to, like, render it fully. I just have to get registration, especially here, to set it in the background. It's going to be fairly dark, and I can put some texture in it. Like it's get a little dirty. What did I miss from Carl? Let's see. What do you drink? Oh, whiskey, Ron. Whiskey. Well, bourbon, actually, in this case. Not a Scotch guy. I don't like the peaty flavor, that peaty after hit. Even the Highland Scotches, I still taste it. It's just not a big fan. Just not a big fan of it. Some are alright, but just not what I prefer. Like I said, for those just getting in, this is downloadable from the store. You can go to McKay Fine Art and actually download the vector file. And you can follow along with this tonight or another time. Obviously tonight would be too late, but you can watch this on the replay. And just see a couple simple pulls and you get the side of that strap. And now I'm going to pull this. Basically just turn it into a little button. Easy Easy peasy. Then keep working my way out. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here so I can see everything. And just kind of work my way out. I'm going to move this aside a little bit. And then go from there. No, I don't think I've tried that one specifically, but look, every Scotch I taste, Highland, this, that, 25, 17, 10, all Scotch has a peaty hit to it, no matter where it's made, some are less, some are more, and it's, you know, I kind of like them, but not as much as a really good bourbon or a rye whiskey. This is where I always kind of sit on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one. I'm going to make this really dark. That's kind of behind. And then we'll pull the edge, which is kind of the edge of the helmet. Well, leather helmet. Leather, yeah. And just kind of get that in there. And I'm going to freehand out that edge a little bit and just get rid of that harshness of it. Well, if you ever come this way, Warlock, we will give it a shot. I'll never like turn down a tasting. It's just I have yet to find one that go, ooh. I have illustration black, opaque, illustration transparent black. Which one will give me the blackest black? Well, so the opaque will give you the blackest. It'll go, because opaque will go 100% black super fast, but you won't have any transition period. Oh, hey Gary, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Black opaque will give you the blackest black. I like the illustration black because I can build transition in tones and then get to that black, or I'll do a lot of the artwork in illustration black, and then for the final, where I really want 100% black, I will then use the opaque. That's the same process I use for solvents as well. The brush is being a little finicky. Right now. No, I never use black straight. Except like when I was doing like t-shirts back in the day, you know, I'll use black straight. Even when I'm doing like a black and gray, like a black artwork over silver, which I do a lot of, I will still usually tint the black with a little something, either purple or red, depending on the tone. Sometimes blue, and just kind of get it to a place a little bit different. But yeah. Gary is starting out strong. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, it must be a little finicky. And why was it finicky? Because I just cleaned them from last week's feed about 2 hours ago. Yeah, I always like a little bit of blue-black. Well, here's another thing. If your paint's working, and I already strained it once, but I've talked about it before. This is a little strainer I've made. So I make these a lot. All it is I think this is a 3/4 inch pipe fitting. 3/8 bore, And just so happens that tobacco screens fit perfectly right inside it. You know, look up there. You see that little dark spot? That was a piece of, you know, dried paint that was in the bottle that it caught the last time. So I'm just going to put that on. It fits perfect there. I'm going to strain the paint right back through. You got to let air get out of it or it won't drain. Here it goes. Pick it up. There we go. Freshly strained paint. Elijah Craig bourbon, very nice. I like that. There we go. Now I get little teeny lines. Yeah, there might have been a little something stuck in because I didn't clean them super well. Now it's clean. Oh, it's the anniversary Guinness logo. Very, very cool. Now let's see. Okay, so I worked on the outer edge here. So what I've done is I took these guys out because this is the furthest back in the background. Now I'm going to get into the skull because the skull is behind everything else, okay? So that's why I'm working from background to foreground. So I did this, we did this, we did this, did this. Now I can get into the skull itself. So now we're going to look in the skull and look what's in the background. We can pull quite a bit out here because I can pull the eyes and nose out, and I can pull the whole mouth cavity area, just kind of work that, and then work my way in from that is what I'm going to do. Yep. Actually, well, they are tobacco screens. Now you can use them for other things, but that's what they were bought from a tobacco store which actually sells pipe tobacco. Now what I'm going to do here, and this is what I recommend to all you guys, is don't just blow 100% color in here, you know, just 100% black. Tone it and then wait till you get the mask off and start freehanding things out. That way you don't end up with these big dark, you know, areas. Okay. El Dorado, 15 years, one of my favorite sipping rums. Yeah, you know, I like rum a little bit, but I can't do a lot of it. So, with skulls, whenever you look at skulls, top-down light source, what we got going on here, don't put a lot of paint down here because skulls are sockets. So you can have quite a bit up here, just a little bit down below, but not much. And that's about all I'm putting in there. Same thing here. I can put a little bit more on this side. But I'm really setting it up for freehand. That's really the key. Okay, so before working on sketch files, I print a paper copy and then rewatch video, number the parts. Yeah, that's always a good tip, but that's kind of the paint by number approach. And I did that with the dragon. And, you know, I advertise the dragon as a paint by number, and a lot of people I don't think download it because they don't want to think they have to do a paint by number project. I don't know. But this is more of a term. But great tip. Yeah, that's how we came up with the Dragon 1. We were doing a class down in San Antonio, and as we went through, I did the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, 8 was like this. These are all 8. And just worked my way through it. So you could effectively do that if you so choose. And I like to get a little texture in those eyes now. There's a lot of bone texture going on here. And inside the mouth area, you should actually see a little bit of the cranium, like the back side of the skull here. So you can kind of like leave it a little lighter behind, but it's pretty much black. You don't see much of it. And then, you know, there's these clouds would actually kind of be coming through here. So you can kind of mimic the same angle that you did. That way it all kind of flows through. And the only thing I really leave for last is I leave the teeth. That way the teeth stay the brightest when I do the skull itself. But just don't remove too much, because you want to freehand a lot of this. I mean, if you can't freehand very well, then what I would still do is I still would do this much, and then I would remove it, and then I would rely on the paper for a loose stencil to kind of work in and out from there. And I really wish I hit record on this, and I didn't hit record on this. Oh, I'll have to pull the YouTube recording. I guess I can hit record now and just grab from here. Yeah, you know, like Warlock. So I did the Dragon one. It hasn't been a huge download. I definitely gonna do some online classes, but you know, and they'll kind of format that way. But for some reason, if I use that term, people get all weird about it. So I just won't use that term. So, we got that in the background. So now we look at our material here. So the back of the jaw, that's going to come out next, and we can actually pull the bottom here. So we'll start this little fold back here. This is kind of a fold, you know. So I usually fold it back to there, then this can come out. So that's actually 9, and 9 is a fold. Whenever you do folds, don't hit them hard. And go away from the fold, like angle the brush up and away. And then I'm pulling that guy out. Oops. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to be doing a whole bunch of series of online stuff. I just have to get through my workload, and there'll definitely be paint by number with erasing techniques and all that. And that guy. I'm going to pull all this out. Now that's the bottom jaw. So now this is where your kind of knowledge of skulls and freehand comes in. Well, you have a little reference guy here that you can look at and be like, oh, okay, that's there. You know, just kind of. I gotta get one of those little magnet guys that Jarl has, so this can just kind of float out here. So with erasing techniques, let's talk about that for a second. So if you're having trouble like freehanding a lot of little grit and texture or highlights, this is the best time to start doing some erasing. There's a couple ways you can do erasing techniques, so let's talk about that quick. Electric erasers are great. This is the one by Wadabadia. We have this one, I'm going to do that, and then your traditional eraser sticks. Call it order of operations. Very true. That's a good one, Carl. So, erasing techniques, you can go in with these eraser sticks and do a lot of that little texture. See how those little highlights came out? Little textures, and if you want to do like more pitted, these guys are great. So how I can go in and just really, you can almost draw the texture on there. And because it's primer down there, or sealer, it's way more durable than like base color. And you get some really cool effects. We're going to do a lot of that. Okay, so inside this missing tooth here. So let's do a little socket. And look, so I'm going to shade that in. I'll take my eraser. And we'll highlight the edge. Just like that. And the teeth, what you want to do is, well, the two teeth meet. Let's see if we can switch in on that. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit more here. Sorry, I'm going to move that camera a bit. How's that? That's better. So between each tooth, you want it darker. And you can just do a soft dagger coming off of it. What that's going to do, that's going to help create that tooth socket. And you can go in and you can erase a highlight down the middle if you want, if you can't do it freehand. And this is the darker sepia I've been using this whole time. And there's always a little texture right here in the bone. You want to hit all that stuff, a little bit in here. You can always do a little Gerald Mendez texture effects. Just give that whole jawbone a little love. Once you get it registered in, you can go back to it later and add more. But you know what, we'll do this row of teeth and kind of go through the best way to do that. Okay. Everything is set. Everything's dark enough. Just start removing the teeth. So, with teeth, same thing. You want to work from the furthest back to the furthest front, okay? So when you got a row, you're going to actually go a couple different ways. So in the order of operations, not paint by numbers, order of operations, we're going to go from the back, in the back, we're going to work our way around. So we're going to go this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. This one, this one, this one, because they're each behind each other, and we're going to keep working our way around. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's the way. No, my throat's just really dry, probably from all the painting and talking and just scratching this. So, just kind of that. This probably isn't helping either, but maybe it is. Let's test. All right. So again, watch. So you gotta we'll do both sides at once. You gotta pick the teeth from each side, and the nice thing about this gap in between is they don't crisscross. And what you do is paint the tooth, the masking. Don't try to paint right on the tooth itself. Just paint the masking itself and come off it. And you can go down and kind of detail the teeth if you want. Or you can mist a little, and then you can erase a highlight with either the regular eraser or the electric. And so you can give it that texture of tooth. You know, I'm going to try, this might get a little shaky. I'm going to try to focus this one a little better. There we go. That's better. Is that better? Yeah. So see what I did? Just that little erasing. So I missed it. I'll do it again here. I'm going to put a little paint on it. Let the overspray get there. I'm going to darken at the bottom a little bit. And then, eraser. Kind of erase those little knobs in the teeth right there. See, it just gives it a little bit of realism. And working our way through each tooth. This one, this one. See how that, now that one sits behind that one, and that one fits behind that one. So you go in the right order, your life's very much easier. Do little breaks in the teeth, paint on that tooth next to it. Just a little bit of texturing. This one can go there. And then go back in with the electric eraser. You can highlight them teeth. You can even highlight the sockets underneath. You could paint with the white if you'd like to. I like going like this because it's not going back down to that same color. And now see that tooth, now you get that nice layering effect. And we just keep going. So I'm going to shut up and just go. A little bit darker at the bottom. And for those interested in this painting, we do have a current bid on it. It is a bid at $175 from Gary. You know, make sure you get darker down there because the tooth is coming out of a socket. So you want it dark there. And then I'm going to give it this a good old mist. And then I'm going to give it a mist of the actual sepia tone straight. I've been using the sepia tone, the darker version, like right out of the gate. And then I'll just kind of wash over the more traditional color, and that's just going to give it, kind of warm it up a little bit. Thanks, Carl. I need my pencil sharpener. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to use, I'll just use an X-Acto. Just if you don't have an electric eraser, these work just fine. And I didn't mix any of my paint with 4050 or 4030, so the erasability stays for a long time. If I had used 4030 or 4050, the erasing would get a little bit more difficult, and it might get a little bit more scratchy. Just FYI for those. Using the additives. So this is what I like to do here. I like to take it almost like a tattoo gun, and I'm just gonna just softly hit it straight. I'm just gonna bounce and then give that soft texture, like right here, watch. And it's just giving it some soft texture to that whole area. And then if you want, you can go in. Oh yeah. I use 4050 on my nails too. And this is that blush. If I want to soften that up, I can go in with the blush color and add some airbrush highlights for like the teeth and things without killing it. But I don't really do that to the very end. But I'm kind of treating this piece as its own kind of done item, so you can kind of get a feel for how the rest of it's going to go. And by using this blush color as opposed to white, it gives almost that translucency to the bone. You know, when you look at like fresh bone or skull, you know, I don't want to say it's reflective or transparent, but it's definitely not like painted white. You know, so it's almost reflecting light, and it's got a lot of facets and things in there. So I really want to just give it a little something. See, that looks really, really cool. Let's back out of this, and then you can see what that looks like from a distance, which looks really cool. And we'll cut over to the other camera and kind of go from there. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, we're going to skip that. We're going to go back here. And I'm going to bring that camera in a little more. All right. Cool. It's not easy getting the 40. No, the 4050 sits on there. Yeah, it's definitely on there. 90% isopropyl alcohol soak will definitely help. All right, so next part of the skull. So we did all this. This is all done. Those following as a order of operations. Carl, we're gonna have to talk about going to that phrase. The order of operations. Now we have all this done. All this is done. So this whole lower half is all done. Okay. This whole section's done. We've done all out here. We've done all out here. And so you see how we're working from background to foreground. This is the best way to work with mask. And like I said, you watch the other videos, I usually remove the mask very fast and get it off and then freehand everything. I'm doing this a little slower and using the mask quite a bit more. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this area back here. So let's just call this area was 10. Let's call this 11 and 11. We're going to do that, and we're going to fold this back. So we're going to fold all these back here. All this area. Okay? And that's going to create the shape of the skull itself. So I'm just going to fold. I'm going to remove this section. It's 9:15. We're doing good. It doesn't look like we're halfway through, but we're actually quite a bit of the way through here. I'm just folding that back. And this is where you don't want to spray a ton of material, okay? Just a little bit here, a little mist. The kind of temple, you can do quite a bit more up in here, because that's really kind of behind the skull. Then in here, it's really just a little bit to get some delineation. That's it. Super small. Okay, not much at all. And then, well, you got to pull next here. Well, we're pretty much pulling most of everything. So I'm going to fold back. I'm going to take this whole section off. Okay? And I'm just going to kiss that edge right there, right off the nose. That's it. Nothing more. Now I'm pulling all this. I'm pulling here, pulling here, pulling here, pulling here. And now you pretty much got the whole face mask off. We'll start shading, shading, shading. And all I'm going to do under here is I'm just going to shade a hair under that eyebrow. I'm going to pull the rest off. The whole skull's off. Okay? So that's the major part of it right there. So let's go back out and do picture-in-picture here. And I'm going to do that 3/4. I'm going to bring up this guy. We'll zoom in on this. So you can see. How's that? That's kind of good. Now you can kind of get both angles. So I could actually, the nose coming off, the eyebrow here, I could cut the paper and put it back, or I could just find an edge that actually lines up. I'm going to use pocket shred here, and I can just use that edge, come off it, just like that, and get that same separation. Okay, so this is where you have nothing but net, just like down here. Start understanding skull anatomy, what you're looking at, what's going on, and just kind of follow along. So the first thing, you know, this is the cheekbone. I usually start the cheekbone area. I'm going to put a core shadow right across the bottom just to give that radius. See how that kind of radiuses the bone? And I'm going to come off here, and we're going to radius down. If you did beach scenes, that's like the palm tree motion. Just soft. I'm just doing soft daggers. There's another missing tooth there. Let's put a hole. There's another missing tooth here. And same thing, we're going to come up these teeth with little dagger strokes up. From between the teeth. I haven't done a lot of major freehand, nothing super detailed, but I set it up so I can. Like, so now that I got some, I can go in and put some little like facets and details in here. And remember, under the cheekbone, this area is darker because it's really, when you look at a skull, it's back here. So the shadow of the cheekbone is casting shadow on those backs of the teeth. So what's back here should always be darker in tone than what's here. And now if I keep working it, I'm starting to tone that out, and this core shadows can get a little darker. And if you want, you can come off this eye with a little freehand crack. Just adds a little interest. When you look inside eye sockets, there's always a lot more detail and stuff in here. You see that? Look at that eye. There's a lot going on in there, so you can simulate that. Just put a little bit of kind of details. And then come off here, just soften that transition out. See that? Just soften that transition so you get rid of that harsh line. You want it darker up here. Almost black up in there. There's always a little, if you look at the skull reference, see there's a break, there's a bone separation here between the upper, above the eyebrow and towards, the cheekbone area where it connects. And that's right here. Could you get by with 0.35? Yes, 100%. And actually, sometimes with the water base, the 0.35 is easier to deal with than the microns. The microns get very finicky at this stage. So you could totally do this with a 0.35 with no problem. Keep darkening. See, I just keep working this area until it pushes back. Another coarse shadow under that eyebrow, and that kind of lets the eyebrow roll into the eye. So you just keep pushing it back, keep toning it. The skull's almost done. So we started this upper half at 1/4 past. So it's been another 8 minutes to kind of get to this stage. Not that you have to do it that fast. It just, doesn't take too much working. And I can still go darker. The nice thing about working this tone is I come in at the end, I can add more black to this in darken areas I want. A little bit of texture. Joe Mendez texture effects, never goes wrong with that. I really want to soften that line. If I want to soften it too, I can go back in. This is actually a point. This is a 0.3. This is the HPC plus, so it's. But I can soften up that line with that. We can get some highlights in here if I don't want to erase. You see, we can kind of brighten that up. But see, because I softened up that edge with that white, I can go in now and tone it back and get rid of that stencil edge. Now that hard edge is gone because I softened it with white and got rid of that super crisp edge. Same thing with this eye. I want to detail way more on here. We can darken a lot of this, that bone separation. Shot in here. Skull has blue hair. Oh, yeah. I mean, it could be worse. It could be pink hair. I mean. Who would want pink hair? Only crazy people. Good crazy. This can get a lot darker in here. Let's bring this crack down. Let's get inside this nose, separate that out. I really want to kind of start to lose this edge, this hard stencil. I'll just put a little bit of like stress fractures along the nose. We'll start getting into those teeth in just a minute here. Shots fired. Who would have think here? Alright, let's get to these teeth now. Alright, so who was paying attention? Which way which teeth do we pull first? How do we work this painting? You know, let's get some erasing in here. Haven't done much in a little bit. Get a little texture here under the bounce. Back to front. You got it, sir. Back to front. So when I do these teeth, I'm going to work from the back ones, which is back here. Those are your back teeth. I'm going to work my way up. It's like going up and down a ladder. So now if I was on a light colored surface, I would go, if I was on a dark colored surface, like working on a black panel, I actually go the opposite way if I'm using a light color to highlight. So watch right here. I'm going to really put the highlight here on that. See how that just brought that bone forward by doing that? We can get these cracks as well. And I'm just, if I go on the side, it really cuts in harsh. See a super harsh line? But if I go forward, just bounce the tip, I can get some soft shading with it. And just get that bone texture in there. So look, I'll bring that septum back up. I'll bring that bone right back in. See that? So just kind of skipped right across there and brought that right back out to the front. Now bounce off it. Bring a little bit of more texture into it. And if you don't like the erase technique, you can use white. You can use the buff color. This is just one way to do it. Just keep bringing those details forward. Work it as much as you want. Like I said, because I didn't do any harsh additives, not harsh, like the 40-30 or 40-50, I can erase this for hours, days really, before it starts getting super hard. And the electrical eraser, if it's too harsh for you, you can definitely go in with the eraser stick and you can soften some of that up. See that? See how that softly transition, I just smooth that out right here. Yeah, I'm really digging this one. I might have to keep this one. I might have to pull the bids off this one. This would really look really nice in the background wall of the shop, in the studio. Yeah, it would look really nice right there. Cool. That's now that everyone's understands the back to front. Let's do those teeth. Get it in practice. That's the trick, man. And I've been teaching this technique for years. How to work, you know, foreground to background, background to foreground, depending on your substrate colors. You know, your substrate meaning your background color, or in what you're going to be painting with. once you kind of figure out that order and how to work, you can really plan your projects well. I understand that. Warlock just dropped the hammer. Guess I'm not keeping it. Damn it. So background to foreground, same thing. This skull will be done very soon. We got the back molars back here. Darken them out. Let's see if I can kind of bring this one up a little bit more so you can see the teeth here. That's better. There we go. Love that multi-camera. You can really see that texture. And then we're going to move to the next one. Actually, we can do this guy. We can do this guy. Because they don't touch, we can actually do this one. Let's see. Yep, we can do this one. And we can do this one. Now I'm going to darken right here, like the tooth is going into that hole. I'm going to come down and, remember, teeth are the same cylindrical shading as anything else, just it's up and down. So instead of horizontal shading to get that radius, you just work it on the up and down side. And by freehanding up here, now it starts to get rid of that hard stencil edge. Just keep working each one. Well, Brian, you can always download the project. It's $20 and follow along and paint your own. And you'll be good to go. Oh, well, that's enough there. Let's go here a little bit. A little bit harsh down the middle. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Have a good evening in Brazil. Someday I'll visit. I'd love to go there. That'd be awesome. And then after this, it's the helmet, which isn't like super complicated. This is probably the skull is probably more the most complicated part for most people, and that's the focal. So that's where you want to spend the majority of the time. Awesome, man. Thank you for downloading it. The Elvis hat. Enough of the Elvis. It's a Dave Monig hat. and I forget who mentioned it before. So like I said, I can definitely do this with a 0.35, no problem. I've been using these airbrushes for so long. If you're struggling, make the painting a little bigger. You know, when we did this one, the original is bigger. The original of this is on 12 by 18 panel. Gives you a lot more flexibility, especially for freehand control if you don't have it on the smaller scale. Which is why the bigger one just takes longer. So I did this as a 9 by 14. It's a Dave hat. Call it done. So yeah, this painting is 9 by 14. I'm trying to push these teeth in the background. And that portion is done. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. There we go there. I can zoom out on that guy. It's really starting to get a cool look already. Alright, so now we have done. Might do a version of this with hair instead of the helmet. Yeah, for sure. So now the whole skull area is done. Okay? Like I said, for those who don't have a plotter, you can follow along with this by either, just, paper cutting your way out of it just like I did. It just, freehanding and shading along the way. Or print this out, transfer the image onto, if you transfer a sheet the whole board, you can hand cut your way out of it the same exact way. Alright, so now I gotta look here. That's where we start getting a little more complex. We gotta figure out what's what. So we got the lenses will come out last. So this whole area can come out. I'm gonna work actually here and here, then to here, and we'll start shading around here. So yeah, so we're gonna go boom, boom. We're gonna take this out, shade, shade, shade around, then we'll work on the strap. Okay? And I want those shadowed a bit darker. It's the inside edge of the mask. So I just noticed the end of my crown here, the air cap has gotten a little scudgy. So we're going to clean that up here, get any dry paint off of it. Take that off. Same thing with this guy. And get in for the home stretch. Now painting to this side, leaving this stuff, the side catching the highlight edge. I can definitely pull that out. So we definitely want to give this some leather texture. So let's see what we got here. Let's use a little Mendez effects here. And just slowly mist in a little texture. Like that crushed leather. That out. Let's see here. I wonder if this light will get a little brighter on it. How's that? That's a little better, huh? Is that better? Kind of tell. Does that brighter light help? It's really bright for me now. Holy crap! I can see. It's such a fine line when I set these videos up because I paint it. I set the lighting so it looks really good on camera, but I'm actually essentially painting in the dark, like probably half the light I would normally paint in. Just so it looks good on camera. Alright, so there. Same process as before. We'll pull this guy out. Oh, I'm going to make this like a hole. Pink Pomodoro. Oh, now we're getting crazy. Hey, Toby, how you doing? Oh, Mike Benner is on. How you doing, my friend? Esther McCauley's on. I'm not sure you're still on. I don't know if I missed you. I don't know how long you've been on for. Sorry about that if you've been on for a while. I didn't say hi. On the Facebook side, it's a little harder for me to see the comments, the way they change the app around. But I hope all is well up there in the Grand River area, Nova Scotia. Kaylee's been pretty quiet tonight because she's tired. Oh, yeah, Scott Voss is on both. Just working my way through it. This little bolt here. Little core shadow. Just like doing rivets. We're showing no draw about doing rivets now, right? After the bomber project. Let's put some stitching in here. Son graduates tomorrow. I'm officially old. I hear ya. Kaylee doesn't graduate yet. She's got 2 more years, but I'm still feeling it. She's got a few more weeks. Cool, okay, so let's get here. We'll save this for later because the strap comes over. Oh yeah, that's right, you did do enough on that stupid helicopter. So this is all done. I'm going to leave this because this strap, the goggle strap, is actually behind, you know, the side ear cuffs here. So now I got here done. I can go under here, and I can do the back half here of the helmet, the upper part of the helmet in sections. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these sections, just shade them, and then we're going to put stitches here. So it's like leather stitches across the helmet. Ooh, 9:48. I got 12 minutes to finish this.
Huh?
So it's 9:48.
You have 12 minutes.
That's what I said. I got 12 minutes to finish this. So yeah, all I'm doing is here, loose shading. I'm going to keep a highlight edge there, so I'm going to shade heavily under these goggles. And I'm going to put heavier to this side because there is kind of a nose ridge here. Because remember, these goggles will kind of slide down over. This whole thing will slide down over the nose. And if you want, you can go with the eraser, just erase a highlight back in the edge. And put a little texture back in there. And from here, a little leather. Get this guy in the middle. And then just off to the goggles, some stitches. We'll call this puppy done. It's starting to look pretty cool. So I'm going to shadow on both sides, and we'll create some stitching. Go stitch, 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 just cow. Darken up each one and shadow them. Give them little indentations. Shadow them back. So we got a chrome trim ring, that goes last. Chrome trim ring. So we pull the underside of the goggle. Let's see what we got here. Then I'm going to pull under here. And just hit that little guy. Let's hit these two first. Yeah, so we're going to pull that and leave that edge. Just going to hit it really quick. And just pull that out there like that. Just so you can see like the edge of the goggles. The trigger is too tall for it. Oh, yeah. I am not a fan of tall triggers. I know a lot of people like the Badger super tall triggers. I'm not a fan. Just it doesn't work for me. I find they get a little sloppy the taller they get. But that's preference. Hello, follow on Facebook. Thank you for popping in. Toby's Watch. Yes, this is up for bids. So on the bids are being taken on it on the YouTube side. So if you click the link, you can get over to YouTube and see what's going on. If you want to put a bid on Facebook, you can as well. Right now, Kaylee, what are we at? $250. We have a bid of $250 on this painting right now, Toby. I want a George Carlin roll. How's that? I know you said something earlier. I'm not sure of my tone or something I said. Current bid $250 from Warlock. Okay, keep an eye on the Facebook side in case people are.
Also in bid 300.
On where?
Facebook.
Okay, so we have
He just moved over to YouTube. But he put the bid in.
Okay, so Toby Voss just put a $300 bid in on Facebook. He is going to move over to YouTube. Going down all the vector so I can do a second panel. I've been wanting to redo this one. By the way, it was great to see you again at the Rendezvous. Yeah, man. Awesome seeing you as well. It was a fun panel. Like I said, I'm going to do another video on this eventually. With the fire color tone. This is how the original one looked. What you can see, just same process, totally different look. Flames in the background. Alright, so now we're almost to the strap. Let's get... Actually, I'm going to pull the bottom strap because of the angle. Gonna hit that. No, she's referring to the infinity brush she got recently. You won that at the Rendezvous, right, Michelle? And this is actually one of Drew Blair's effects. This will give this strap kind of a leathery strap feel. There we go. Leather pieces. This is like the metal hooks and rings. Let's get that in here. Toby, if you get onto the YouTube side, if you can't make a comment, let me know you're here. We'll keep an eye on both. See the little cylindrical shading here. Give this a nice feel. And we're almost at the tail end. I'm here on YouTube. So I see you, Toby, I see you on Facebook. So you might be watching on YouTube. I'm not sure if you've commented on YouTube. Either one, we'll follow both. So you just typed I think, that's on the Facebook side. You're watching on Facebook. On YouTube, you can see multiple cameras, multiple angles. And whoever wins this one, you can decide. You can decide whether you want it gloss, clear, or matte. On these ones, I prefer matte, but it doesn't matter. I've been overruled before. Whoever just downloaded the download, thank you very much. Alright, so now let's get out. Get the pocket graphics out here. We'll do some reflections. Yeah, we're gonna do one of those planes. I think it's reflecting from the glasses here. See that? Now that plane is reflecting onto that. Just a little hint of it. And so there's got to be another one here. There'll be a slightly different angle. Hey, Toby, there you are. You're here. Looks much better over here, doesn't it? You can see multiple angles. And for those who've won paintings in the past, you know I put in another, half an hour into this between some little added details, clear and polished at the end. The reflection, yeah, it just ties everything together. So when you see them together, it just brings it right down. And then the ear cuffs, and we're done, peoples. Said right now we are at a current bid of $300 from Toby, who's just now joining us over on Facebook. Say welcome, Toby. What's the download? So Tim, if you go to McKayFineArt.com, MACKAY fineart.com. You can download the vector, which includes everything from this file, including the plane, all the silhouettes of the plane, and this file here. Oh, we are past 10. We're over the 2-hour mark. This is a long one. We don't often do this. Alright, so I'm going to put the ear cuffs. Hey Chuck, how's it going? And now we're just going to shade these in. So yeah, McKay Fine Arts, where you get the downloads. And don't forget about this awesome stand by by Visionaire. That's the easel I'm using here. We got fisheye filter reviews tonight. The little minnows here. We'll get our little plugs in for these guys. Yes, David. Yeah, this is a fun one to do here. And the mask we used was FBS Blue Mask. That was used at the beginning.
I got 325. Gary got 325.
No, we got the 325 from Gary. Thank you, Gary. Don't forget to like the video. No, exactly. Like, share, watch it over and over again. The more you guys watch it and share it, the better. Yes, Gary, we got the 325 bid from you. Yep. And then Warlock just confirmed it, and then Kaylee confirmed it, so we are good. Cylindrical shading around this. And just keep working our way out from what? Background to foreground. Oh, Toby in with a counter. Kaylee, keep an eye on that. We got Toby. Blues chasing up. Do I hear 375? 375, 375. Do I hear 375? We're at 350. My throat is not going to handle that. Sorry. Stay with me. Back to front. Exactly. Pull off these final pieces of mask. And never bid against Gary with aviators. I don't know. Toby's on this one pretty big. What the hell? Gary, do you have one of Mike's aviators? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mist this, and then I'll erase some kind of highlights. So get them final bids in now. Gary is the top dog as far as me looking up. Round numbers are nice. Gary does get to save on shipping for two for one. Hey, Jesus, welcome. Yeah, no, it is 10 here. After 10. Oh, you got the kamikaze one. Yep. Some final highlights. Oh, Toby came in with a big one. Made it even. We finish this off with one of Mike Lavalle's fire curves for some highlights. Just bring out those reflections a little bit. So Toby, you were already at 4, I think. Are you upping it to 450 just to lock it, or because the 425 was just a thing from Blue to see if we get up? So just want to verify where you're at. Last highlights here. A little fire coming off the engine here. Smoke coming off that one. I think Toby bid against himself, but I'm not sure if he misunderstood. So Toby, just verify your current bid. And I want to make sure he didn't bid on himself or if he did it on purpose. So just highlights here. Gonna have some smoke coming out of this guy here. Okay, 450. 450 is the current bid from Toby Voss. Thank you, sir. So right now it's Toby Voss at 450. The next closest bid was Gary. So if Gary is out, then this will be awarded Toby, unless Gary wants to one-up it. I don't want to bring any other new bidders in right now. I want to give everyone a shot. All right, the winner of this is Mr. Toby Voss. Is the tail end. I want to thank everyone for all the comments, bids, suggestions, and everyone who purchased the downloads. Hope to see more people download. I love to see what people do with this. If people incorporate with different colors and different tones and different things. And I will do a video again soon. Some of those final little cloud highlights. Thing wrapped up. And that, kids, love the texture on the strap. Yeah, just all the little textures just really help everything. So this was the original. And I said I will do a video on this one eventually. This is tonight's sepia tone version. The realistic fire color one will probably take twice as long, so I'm going to record it. Like I said, it'll probably be 4-6 hours of painting, but I'll be able to edit it down to some of the redundancies and make it a great video to add on. And I might even consider, if people are interested in doing a almost like a private, semi-private class on it, we can do it in multiple sections, because that's kind of a goal I've been wanting to do. We do like a private group and go through it. And now we're going to sign this puppy and then sign off. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to tonight's live feed. I want everyone to have a really happy, healthy, and safe Memorial Day weekend. Do a little airplane kind of coming off my signature there. Cool. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We are going to sign off, say goodnight. Thank you everyone for checking it out. I will see you all next Thursday on the next Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Thank you for all who commented, bidded, hung out, helped out. I will see you all soon. Go paint some stuff. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.